We've all had that moment in a relationship where we ask ourselves, is this the one? I mean, this is what dating is all about. Taking the time to get to know someone, to see if they have the compatibility to make it for the long haul. But the problem with relationships is things are constantly shifting. And one day you may be having a great time together, and the next you're frustrated and questioning if things will ever get to the next level. So the only way to truly know what to do in the relationship is to observe the patterns of the relationship and how you feel within that particular relationship. So how do you know if it's time to break up? I have 7 major questions to ask yourself to do some deep thinking before you make a choice. Number 1, are you happy in the relationship? Seems like a silly question, right? Let me tell you a story. I was at one of my regular spots with my husband. We were laughing and having dinner, and this guy who's seen us there a bunch of times before leans over and says, "Wow, you two really like hanging out with each other. What's that like?" And it took us both by surprise because, of course, we genuinely like spending time together and are happy, most of the time. So this seems like a wild question. But the truth is, many people are not happy in their relationship and stick it out for the wrong reasons, or have never even seen what a functional relationship is and don't know what it should look like. So if you're frequently unhappy, considering breaking up, and can't be your authentic self around this person, it may be time to call it quits. Number 2, do you communicate well? Normal communication issues can happen in even the best of relationships, but a healthy relationship will be able to manage their conflicts effectively and find a mutual resolution. Common communication issues that arise in most relationships are blame, criticism, and not listening, which can cause people to consider if this is the right relationship for them. But when there's open dialogue and a mutual desire to work things out, and there's space to speak your mind, express your needs with someone who is willing to try to meet them, then you know there is something worth keeping. But if you can never get past the blame, the criticism, and tuning out becomes a regular pattern, and the fights just keep going round and round and round, it may be time to reconsider things. Number 3, do you suspect emotional health issues? Emotional health and mental illness are 2 different things. Now, of course, if someone has a mental illness that's left untreated, then dysfunctional behavior will pop up. What I mean by emotional health issues is when someone is not centered with consistently responsible behavior and instead is self-absorbed, paranoid, overly defensive, easily angered, demonstrating deceitful behavior, have a history of lying, or a lack of integrity. Because if someone hasn't done their inner work, their inner child will make some wild appearances at the worst times. So have you ever heard the phrase, when you fall in love, you feel like a kid again? Well, if your childhood wasn't a great one and those issues aren't resolved, then guess where that pain will be projected? So look for someone who is honest, trustworthy, responsible, and shows a willingness to work on their issues for a sign of someone worthy of sticking it out for. Number 4, do your values align? Now, values are the way that you see the world and the principles you live your life by. Now, in no way do you need to be carbon copies of each other, but to constantly be defending your way of living, thinking, or being will be exhausting and will lead to conflict. So, it's important to first know what your values are. Because when we're young, we just don't think about these things. We're like, oh my God, he's cute and he makes me smile, so let's date. And then we're confused when conflict arises because we don't even know who we are yet. So, consider what is most important to you. Giving back, how you view money, ties to family and friends. Now, I always say if you're struggling to know what your values are, imagine you had a child tomorrow. What are the things that you know you need to teach them? These are your values. So now imagine trying to raise a child with someone who doesn't value those things. It isn't a pretty picture, right? Conflict is inevitable, but if you see the world in a similar way, it makes the tough times much easier to weather. Number 5, are they capable of meeting your needs? As humans, we all have needs beyond just the basic of food, water, and shelter. Needs vary from person to person, and when we expect someone to just know how to treat us and don't express our needs clearly, it can lead to feeling dissatisfied. So before thinking of ending things, have you told your needs to your partner? Have they tried to meet them? Have they told you your needs are not something they're able to give to you? Some examples could be one partner needing a lot of alone time and the other one want to spend a lot of time together. or someone needing a lot of reassurance and being with someone who is self-motivated and gets annoyed having to give regular praise. Now you can see how people can fall in love and be sexually attracted to each other, but not be aligned in the types of needs you need and vice versa. Because here's the deal. Love is not enough to keep two people together forever. So get clear on your needs and be honest with yourself if they can meet them or not. Number 6, are you waiting for them to change? Now, often we lie to ourselves when we see the potential of someone and get wrapped up in a fantasy of who we believe they could be. But the problem with this is it's not living in reality, and the more likely result will be they never change, and you wasted more time with the wrong person. Now, if you wouldn't be happy with who they are, how they act, what they do, and how things are right now, well, it may be time to reconsider. We must accept who people are now, or suffer unnecessarily. Number 7, if you consider breaking up, would you regret it? Now, deep down, we often have a voice that is screaming for our attention, saying things like, "He's not the one!" But it's all too easy to ignore our gut, get stuck in our head, and spin our wheels. Sometimes people think that they're giving up too quickly and then drag things out. But if you consider breaking up and you don't think you'll live with regret for not sticking it out, sounds like you already know what you need to do. Now, with all of these factors to consider, here are some unhealthy and dysfunctional behaviors that are never acceptable. If someone is openly defying out the rules you set for cheating, intentionally manipulating you, controlling what you wear, how you spend your money, who you speak with, how you spend your time, or abusing you verbally or physically, it's time to get out and get out now. Now, if you need immediate help, there's a lot of people you can call. There's also the National Domestic Hotline, 1-800-799-SAFE. Keep in mind that sometimes relationships don't work out and problems arise because we haven't done our inner work and are attracting what is familiar to us based on past trauma. So, be mindful to not place blame on your partner fully, as we all have our own responsibilities to take. Healing can happen while we're in a relationship, and it can be worked out if you're with someone who's willing to participate, and if you are willing to do the work and to be open and receptive to them, because this is a two-way street after all. And if you feel the work is too much to do while you're with somebody, or if your trauma is bleeding all over someone else, it's okay to exit with love and work on you. If you get really quiet and listen to your gut, most of the answers are already within you. So be mindful of clouding your mind and schedule with distractions when you know the inevitable decision that must be made. Being lonely is a common reason people don't want to break up. But the longer you sell your worth short by not being with someone who is not serving your highest self, it's telling your subconscious mind that you don't deserve more, and it will keep you playing small and will bleed into other areas of your life. So get quiet, consider the whole, be brave, and know that closing one door is the only way to open a new one.